Welcome, everyone. Today's topic is going to be on what is the creepiest Christmas song ever written. Stick around and find out what that is. Okay, the creepiest Christmas song ever written. There are a few. I think most people, when they see that title on this video, right away they're going to think, oh, this is going to be Baby, It's Cold Outside. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not. Although, it could have been. In case you're not familiar, the song Baby, It's Cold Outside is fairly creepy because you've got a woman that's essentially trying to leave some guy's house or apartment. They're on a date maybe, and he's coercing her to stay. He's really pushy. He's using the fact that it's cold outside as an excuse. And that's about all I want to say on that. I think we've all heard about how that one just kind of gives us the creeps. However, not, in my view, the creepiest Christmas song ever written. Okay, Christmas songs having content that's questionable is not a new thing. In fact, the world's most beloved Christmas song, Jingle Bells, was at one time considered inappropriate. Yet Jingle Bells is not what I believe to be the creepiest Christmas song ever. But why could Jingle Bells possibly be considered offensive? The interesting thing is about the song Jingle Bells, it was originally written for a Thanksgiving Mass. The song was, well, as we know, it's about jingle bells, riding in a sleigh, but I do believe there's a verse in there where it references that the couple in the sleigh are on a date. So the man singing, he's courting a woman. Now this was offensive or considered questionable when it was going to be performed at this Thanksgiving Mass because the music was written for a boys' choir, like young boys that aren't really old enough to be dating. The song was then nixed from the Mass, later then readapted for Christmas, and is now considered one of the most famous Christmas songs ever. So interesting history on that song. At one time it was considered inappropriate. Okay. Personally, I think the song Santa Baby, although not the creepiest Christmas song ever, Santa Baby is still, it's up there. Just in my view, it's weird because, you got Eartha Kitt singing, in her sultry voice, almost like she's trying to seduce Santa. She wants all these extravagant gifts, and then one of the last things she says she wants is a ring. Santa cutie, Santa baby. She's kind of hitting on Santa Claus. Kind of weird. Okay. What else do we got? Have you ever thought about it? Frosty the Snowman. That one's a little on the creepy side. It's fun, but honestly, if I were a kid and I made a snowman, put a hat on its head, and it came to life, I'd have been running. That's the stuff horror movies are made out of. Okay, next on my list, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Not the creepiest Christmas song I've ever heard, but still, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Yikes. So Santa's a stalker. Sees me when I'm sleeping. Kind of like what's that song, Every Breath You Take by the Police? Kind of the same thing. Okay. I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. Yeah, that's another one that just kind of doesn't sit right with me. Funny, but whatever. Okay. When am I going to get to the point? What is the creepiest Christmas song ever written in Brandon's point of view? Here it comes. The Coventry Carol. Ever heard of it? It's a very old song from the 16th century. It even has a very medieval song, and I'll be doing a performance of it at the end of the video on the guitar. It's a very old song from the Renaissance period called the Coventry Carol. Now this song it kept popping up when I'm doing lessons. In a lot of the beginner methods, holiday songs will appear. Students get to learn. And this song called the Coventry Carol kept appearing. And for years I didn't even bother checking it out to see what it even was. And so I got a little bit more in depth with studying, the background on all of the songs that were in these books. I found it was really helpful for students. But I was shocked when I looked up the Coventry Carol to find out it was first a Christmas song, fine, but my first question was, why does it sound so somber? And the sheet music that I got for it too, for the performance I'm going to do in a little bit, it even says at the beginning to play it like the expression you want to use should be mournful. Okay, I don't know about you, but my Christmas songs that I usually hear, they're usually like kind of commercial type jingles, like Jingle Bells or whatever. Or a lot of times are dealing with kind of more jazzy chords, like there's snow on the ground, Christmas trees, that kind of thing. Kind of romantic, very jazzy. In fact, I've done some arrangements of some of them on jazz, or I didn't do the arrangements, but I played some of these on my YouTube channel. Loved doing those, learned a lot about jazz chords and stuff. But they're always happy, they're always relaxing and soothing, but this one sounded somber. Like, why? Well, okay, here's what it's about. Now, let's not forget, it is a Christmas song, and it is on point with the Christmas story, if you want to take the religious view on it, and I don't mean the solstice, but I mean the Christian view, where it has to do with Jesus. But we're always familiar with the nativity scene. We've got the baby in the manger, and Mary and Joseph, and all the animals, the barn animals, and then you have the three wise men. Okay, there's that. And that's usually the theme that the religious type Christmas songs stick with. This one is about the Jesus story. However, it focuses on a part of it that you wouldn't think one would want to write music for, especially not for Christmas. If you're not familiar with some of the background on that story, it goes like this. The three wise men, they have a big part to play in this. The three wise men were following a star that was going to eventually lead them to the foretold Messiah. At his birth, or potentially maybe somewhere around, maybe Jesus might have actually been like maybe 5 or 6 years old by the time they made it. It's hard to say for sure. They were there sometime between the time that Jesus was born and by the time he was maybe about age 6. Anyway, they're trying to find the location, and they're being directed. Their GPS, in a sense, was a star. The star, though, doesn't seem to have a super honest motive, if it had a motive at all, because it didn't bring them directly to Jesus. It brought them first to King Herod, somebody who felt directly threatened by this potential foretold Messiah, because all of the prophecies surrounding this Messiah, it was going to be a king that would take the throne in Israel. This threatened Herod's sovereignty. He felt he would lose his power. So once he's informed by these three wise men that they know where the Messiah is going to be born, they're following the star, he decides to be clever. He says, well, when you find the Messiah, please come back to me and tell me where he is so that I too may go and adore him. Well, the three wise men wised up to what his potential plan was, and that was to get rid of the Messiah, to maintain his own position. So they didn't return. They did not report back to King Herod. After some time, Herod realized that they weren't coming back. So Herod decides to take matters into his own hands, and he sends out his soldiers with swords to go into the towns and ram swords through babies and small children. This is part of that story, and it's not such a happy part of the Christmas story, but this is what the Coventry Carol is about. Somebody decided, hey, let's make a song about that, babies being slain. Now, you can Google image this thing too, where the paintings depicting this motif are absolutely disturbing, as it shows women lamenting their dead children and dead male babies lying in the streets, littering the streets, while soldiers are running around with their swords, hacking away. Anyway, creepiest Christmas song ever written? What do you think? Leave a comment below if you can come up with a better one. But nonetheless, in my view, the Coventry Carol is definitely the creepiest Christmas song ever written. So without further ado, here is the Coventry Carol. very Christmassy.